And joining us now, it's the head coach at Troy, Beth Mullins, and the star pitcher, Leanna Johnson, joining us together here on In the Circle. How you ladies doing?
We are always good when we're playing past regular season.
Agreed.
Well, that's true, and you've made some history. It's been a while at Troy, 1996, I believe. We'll start with you, Coach. What was it like Sunday night? Was it stressful? What was it like as you get ready to watch the selection show? How did you feel going in?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't recommend being a bubble team for as long as we probably remained a bubble team. The anxiety level is out of the roof. So Saturday and Sunday morning were quite the days, but the really positive of that is you get a true raw emotion out of your team when they make it. So it's a feeling, unless you've ever been there, which I know a lot of coaches and players have been there, but a lot of them haven't. If you've never experienced it, it is indescribable. So, and again, I'm sure Leanna can, from the player perspective, say more on that, but I was just really proud. I mean, once we came down off the high of making it, I just could not be more proud of not only our program, but our conference and, a lot of other things that, went into what happened on Sunday.
Leanna, what was it like from a player's perspective?
It's like Coach Mullins said, just like that raw emotion. It was just something that you couldn't fake it. Like just going in there, not knowing like what regional you're going to get picked for, or even if you're going to get picked for a regional site. And then whenever you just see your school name pop up there, it was just unbelievable and like just so surreal. Like in the moment, being there, celebrating with all like your teammates, like all the coaching staff, everyone a part of Troy, and like what everybody that has been there from the start. It was just like really, really unbelievable, and just like the best feeling that you could imagine in that moment.
I mentioned it's been since 1996 that Troy's been to the tournament. Coach, was that a burden? I mean, you've been building this program up since you arrived, and you've been getting there to that point. But was there a burden? Was that something that was like kind of a monkey on the back, if you will, or what was that like, carrying that, knowing that this program hasn't been for a while, and maybe that contributed to some of the stress on Sunday night?
Honestly, it wasn't a burden. It was just one of those things is, it's been a build, and I told the girls, you can be stressed about it because you want it so bad, or you can just relax and go out there and play. And this was the week before, but I don't think that never having done it since 1996 or since there's been a field of 64 really was in our minds. It's just knowing that this program, I think we've built it the right way. We've built it right with the right kids. We've, built this culture that we're so proud of, and you just want to see that, the end result be a positive one. And I think that's where if any stress came, it's just from these kids have, as all kids have this last year and a half, have been through so much. And we really have had some adversity the last couple of weeks that we've had to fight through. You just want it so bad. So I think that's where it came from. But I'm beyond proud of just for Troy University. I mean, the fact that, our women's basketball went to the NCAA tournament this year, softball went. I'm really proud of our women's sports. Just a lot of stuff went into the excitement of that.
Of course, Coach, we were talking off air, when you were in the first assistant at UAB in 2010, you got to placed in Tuscaloosa as well. Did you have some flashbacks there when you saw the bracket and you're like, oh, going to Tuscaloosa as a 3 seed?
Yeah, I flashback to the excitement in the room. I flashback a little bit to that moment because we were in at large too that weren't really sure if we were going to get in. So that was cool. But, we've actually been to Tuscaloosa quite a bit. They're not but 3 hours up the road. So, it was a flashback a little bit, but more, we were just there in February, and just the excitement of Rhodes Stadium and knowing the atmosphere that we get to go play in. And I think that was where the excitement came from. But it's going to be a challenging bracket, as I'm sure everybody's been talking about on all of these things. So, seeing us against Clemson and the rest of the field, I think that's just a exciting thing.
Leanna, it seems like everywhere you go, pitching follows you. You got to face pitching everywhere. Like in the conference, you had 4 first-team all-conference pitchers we'll get into a little bit later. But now in this regional, you got some great pitchers like Valerie Cagle at Clemson, Montana Fouts. So, I mean, what is it about you that everybody seems like wherever you go, there's other great pitchers too?
I don't know. It's just pitching's fun. Everybody loves to do it, I guess. I'm honored to be, among some of the top pitchers in the country, and just to be with those two, like in the tournament or in this regional, is just it's really really cool just to see them and like how they prepare and stuff like that. But I'm really honored just to be there and to be a part of like who they are and like with them, be competing with them.
Leanna, as a team, what does it mean to have this pride to be the Troy team that gets the program back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since '96 and the first time ever as an at-large?
It feels great. I love Troy. I love the community. Like everyone is so like close, like it's like family. I'm really happy for, the university. I'm really happy for just Troy as a community. Just we get a lot of support from them. So I know that it feels good to just be going to that next level. Um, it's crazy, and I'm really glad that I get to be a part of it. It's like Coach Mullins said, like it's just something like we've been building on. Players in the past that I've played with, it's just about a part of that legacy that they've left and that they started, and it really just feels good to like be a part of that and like to continue and to start something more.
Was that something, Leanna, you thought about when you committed to Troy and you came to Troy? Was that something one of your goals is to, hey, I want to lead this program back to the NCAA tournament?
Oh, for sure. Coming from Brantley, like it was small and like we had a lot of success there. And like I just wanted to do anything that I could just to leave a legacy here and continue a legacy that has, been started and just get us to that next point. And I'm really glad that me and my teammates could do that this year.
Coach, 4 bids for the Sun Belt into the NCAA tournament. A banner year for the Sun Belt. I think it speaks volumes how strong the league was. Number 6 rated conference according to the RPI, but so much depth. Just talk about the pride from a league standpoint because that helped you get in. Was how strong this league is, as well as your non-conference, the win against Ole Miss. But your league, the strength of it, really showed on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, I think what's really cool is what a lot of people don't know is the last couple years, even before COVID, when we met as coaches in the Sun Belt, we made a concerted effort to say we should be getting more teams in the NCAA tournament than we are getting. I mean, at the time we were only getting 1 and we were lucky to get 2. And so we kind of broke it down and the conference helped us of how are we going to do this and scheduling tougher, not just the top teams, but everybody scheduling tougher, whether it benefited you in the present or not was something we did. And I give a lot of even the teams that did not make it out of our conference, they're a huge reason why we were able to do that. So what was great is, Ricky at Texas State, and when we would win, she would be so pumped and just always say, go Sun Belt. Becky, me with them, like everybody was just really excited for the Sun Belt whenever those, big, Alabama, South Alabama beating Georgia, Texas State, beating Ole Miss, us beating Ole Miss, we were just really excited for each other. So for 4 teams to go in, that speaks volumes of, I think the Sun Belt has gotten back to that place that it was, 5, 6, 10 years ago, where they're a legitimate 3, if not more, bid conference. And yay for the mid majors is all I can say.
Amen to that. Yeah, no question. And one of the reasons why the league is so strong this year, Coach, is the depth in the pitching in the circle. I mean, obviously you've got a great one, but man, the league was it was insane to see the depth with obviously the Cajuns have their aces and obviously in summer you got South Alabama and I mean, what was it like in the league with so much depth in the pitching?
It was exciting. I mean, we say great talent brings great talent. I mean, I give Leanna some of the credit. We obviously rose through the conference standings when Leanna got here and some of the pitchers that came before her. And I think when coaches are like, all right, we're going to go get ourselves a pitching staff and a couple pitchers, and we're going to have the same thing. And I think that's what happened. I mean, Olivia Lackey has done an incredible job for South Alabama. She's the real deal. Texas State's got, a 2-headed monster over there with Mullins and the King kid, and they're both the real deal. I don't think people realize how good the pitching is in this conference. And it even further along, like App State's got a really good pitcher. I mean, it just was top to bottom, and it just made us better. Like they said, iron sharpens iron, but I'm really proud of our pitching staff, but also just proud that I think a lot of people are, going out there and recruiting their butts off in our conference, and good for them.
Leanna, what was it like there? I mean, you mentioned you just heard the names there. You got Summer in the league. You've got Lackey at South Alabama. You got Mullins and King at Texas State. Others in the league as well. I mean, are you peaking there each week, seeing how each pitcher's doing there? Because that was pretty exciting. It was pretty cool that the coaches put all of you in the first team, rightfully so. But what was that like from a competition standpoint there, pitching wise, knowing you're all those aces?
Yeah, I mean, with each team having really good pitching staff, just like having one good pitch, like one leading pitcher on their team, talking about all the people that you just mentioned, it just honestly made you want to go to work harder, just to like try to beat them in every category, just kind of have like goals within yourself and then just work on that and just try to be at the top. I'm really happy that the Sun Belt has so many good, like a great pitching staff for each team. And it's like Coach Mullins says, like they just do a good job of going out there and recruiting and like kind of building their team off of pitching and defense as we do here at Troy. But it really is a good feeling to see the conference and like the other teams in the conference, just to have that really solid pitching staff and just to make you want to get better, just like to try to be the best one out there.
Coach, talk about the state of Alabama. It's everybody talks about football is king, and 365. Well, I would say softball is queen in the state of Alabama as well. I mean, with Alabama, obviously, but your program, South Alabama, Alabama State in this regional, they've been now starting to get to the NCAA tournament on a consistent basis. UAB is kind of on the rise with the job Coach Guthrie there. Just talk about the state of Alabama and softball in the state of Alabama.
Well, I'm an Alabama girl. I know Leanna's an Alabama girl. My whole staff, we're from Alabama. We're really proud of our state. And, we'll talk about recruiting. I think if you looked at all the rosters on all these teams that we're talking about, UAB was really close, I think, to getting in. So that would have been, I think, 6 teams that got in. I think you get Alabama excited about anything, and they're going to get really good at it. And I think just having coached for as long as I have in the state, just seeing the talent, but we don't go across the country to get kids. I think Troy is a fit, and I think it's a really good fit for kids in Alabama. I think it's a good fit. Most of our kids are Alabama kids, Georgia kids, or Florida kids, and for our ability to stay inside our state and just recruit as much as we can, as well as these teams, other teams that we're talking about, is huge. And I don't expect it to change anytime soon. I think these same teams are going to be really good for a long time, and that's. You might know better than me. I would guess Alabama might have the most teams out of it. They're close.
I think so.
Probably.
I think so. Yeah, no, I mean, it's been a banner year. Yeah, it's a big banner year. And Leanna, kind of expand on that, because I'm curious about your story. What made you decide to play softball, and then how'd you end up at Troy?
Well, I've played softball, I guess, just my whole life. Troy honestly was like always at the top of the list for me. It was close to home. I didn't really play like on a big travel ball team, so I didn't really get like recruited like heavily, I guess you could say. But I really am appreciative of Coach Mullins and her pitching staff for taking a chance on me, like just being from a small town and like not having that experience with playing on a big travel ball team. Like she said, like she like recruits more around here. So like every year at the state tournament, like I saw them and I knew that I wanted to impress them. So I always tried to be on my game, and just try to get that offer from them. And then she offered me, and I took that. So I wasn't hesitant with it. Whenever she offered me, I told her I was ready to be a Trojan, and that's how it is. And here I am.
That's funny. Did you have a favorite player growing up, or an athlete growing up?
Well, it's kind of ironic. I really did like Jackie Traina. I liked watching her pitch from Alabama. She was just a beast. And honestly, it's kind of funny, they called her the J Train, and then sometimes like people in Brantley, they're like called me like the L Train. So like I guess I like her a lot. So I watched her a pretty good bit, but I just tried to, be the best I could be.
That's pretty good. I like that. The nickname too. That could work. That could work in that region there. Coach, I mean, what do you remember the first time you saw her, and were you even surprised? Because she made an immediate impact when she arrived on campus and really kind of put your program on the map with her performance even early when she stepped on campus.
Yeah, my favorite saying with recruiting Leanna is because we saw her really early on. And again, she's from 35, 40 minutes down the road. I don't know if people realize 2 of our pitchers are from within 35 minutes of Troy, which is, but she would sit there at Brantley and just literally mow everybody down, like 18, 19 strikeouts. And my favorite saying was, yeah, but what is she going to do at the Division I level? And I just want to be like, good is good. It doesn't matter if it's in 1A, 6A ball, it doesn't matter, junior college, good is good. And Leanna was just good. And she has that it. And if you watch her pitch in person, you know what I'm talking about. She's just a bulldog. She wants the ball all the time. She does not like it when it's taken from her, and I love that about her. And she just wants to go out there and do it for Troy, and I think that's a really cool thing. We call that a true Trojan. Like, loves Troy, is proud of what this program's doing, and is proud to be a part of it, and do it for Troy. It's awesome.
It's been tremendous. Let's talk about the rest of your team here, Coach, because you've got a lot of talented players. Katie Webb, Katie Lively, Kelly Horn. You led the league, in fact, with 4 first-team all-conference members in the Sun Belt. Some people may not be aware of that. Just talk about this core and what made this core so special and some of the other players here on the team, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, we kind of showed the offensive explosion during the half the year that we played last year. We've got a freshman in Jade Sinnis that's led off for us all year that her average is not as high as some of these others, but she's our leadoff and she has just been extraordinary this year. And then from there, it just gets, it was just a hard lineup, especially at the top to get through. And, Katie's a senior, but the rest of those are sophomore or freshmen. So that's what's even more exciting. But yeah, it's probably the best offense we've had in a long time. I know it's probably the best offense we've had since I've been here. And it's just been consistent all year. We've had maybe more recently, which happens a lot. We've struggled a little more recently to score runs, but that's just kind of what happens at the end of the year. But we have been from pitch number 1 of that Ole Miss game at the beginning of the year to now just been very consistent. Our lineup has not changed a tremendous amount, which I think is a positive. But yeah, each individually, and Leanna knows they're all the names that you named are completely different, like kids, like personality wise, but they are all beast at the plate. So, Katie Lively is one of the most quiet, unassuming players you'll ever coach, but she just can crush. And then Kelly's one of the most opposite ends of that, energetic people and can crush. Same with Katie Webb. So we've kind of got a little bit of everything, but I think they take a lot of pride in protecting each other. So we talk about that a lot. Like, Katie Lively protects Jade. Katie Webb protects Katie Lively. Kelly's down there in the 4-hole protecting them all. And I think that's been a lot to our success. So I was proud of them. I'm glad I thought it was interesting that Kelly Horn, who's hitting 388 with as much as she's done, was a second team all conference, but that's just me.
Yeah, that was the irony. Yeah, that was like the weird thing is you had all these first teamers and she wasn't one of them. Like, wait a minute. Like, that was kind of a unique choice. But Leanna, that's a lot of talent you're playing with there. That has to help you as well. Just talk about that, your teammates offensively and defensively behind you.
Yeah, it's really so much fun. I know that my defense is going to go to work behind me. We have a great defense. They do a really good job of just holding it down out there, working to make those outs. And then whenever we come back in the dugout, it just really is fun because our hitters are ready, they're just ready to score runs. And then when they put those runs up, it just really makes you want to go out there and just shut them down.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach, let's talk about you a little bit. People, like you mentioned, obviously you're an Alabama girl. You played at UAB when the program started. You were an assistant at UAB, both under legendary coach Marla Townsend. What was it like playing and coaching under her there? I remember you all from the CUSA days when UCF and UAB battled in Conference USA. You had players like Lauren Webster and company. You helped build that program as a player and as a coach, part of their great run there that, you helped build there. What was it like for working for Coach Townsend and playing for her?
That was great. Well, I think anybody will agree that playing for somebody and working for somebody is very different. So you always have those player goggles on for those 4 years that you think you know maybe more than you really do. And your coach is not always right and yada, yada. And then you go and work for them and realize that they were genius after all. So I think, the best thing is before the selection show, about 2 weeks out, Marla called me and she knew what was going on and just was being just a great mentor of, you're good, they're fine, you just keep playing. And I think for not only somebody you played for, but somebody you worked for to just constantly stay up with you and just be your biggest fan. That is Marla Townsend through and through. I mean, she has coached a million kids, and to this day, I bet she could tell you what each and one of them are doing, and she is their biggest fan. So it was awesome. It was an awesome experience to have that happen at my alma mater. I've got an assistant, Taylor Smart, that just experienced that here. She played for Troy and she just got to experience going to the tournament. So it's a really unique experience that I wouldn't trade for the world. So, but yeah, Marla's the GOAT. Not going to lie.
You've had a pretty good coaching circle there throughout your career. Obviously, as I mentioned, you coached under Coach Townsend. You coached under Tyra Perry at Western Kentucky when she was there. Natalie Poole when you got to Georgia Southern. And all these places, by the way, you've been to the NCAA tournament, it seems. And then, obviously, with Coach Studerman at Mississippi State. Just talk about it, because you must have taken some things from each of those coaches here and applied that to your own style.
Yeah, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around the most or, talk to the most. And I have been so fortunate to, Natalie was my first boss. I was a 22-year-old, probably idiot that thought they knew everything. And she was so patient with me over there in Statesboro. And we actually played them this year. And I just gave her a big hug and told her thank you, because there's no way I'd be here without her or Marla or Tyra or Van. I just had some really strong women mentors. And Becky Clark, who's at South Alabama, I didn't work for her, but she's always been a big mentor of mine, which is strange because now we're rivals, but it doesn't matter. I think, I've just been really fortunate, and, I'm able to call any of them at any time. And I think that's just huge. So I'm very fortunate, and hopefully one day can do that for, former players or former assistants of mine, because that has been a huge part of my career, is those women.
Leanna, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's it like playing for Coach Mullins?
I love playing for Coach Mullins. She has a really good staff. Playing for her, I know she always has our backs. She's going to stick up for us in any situation. It really just is fun just going out to compete for her and just to compete for, Troy. But I really appreciate me getting to play for her and for her recruiting me, and I really couldn't be any more thankful for that.
I don't know if you were aware that she was a player. Does that can you sense that she's, she can relate to the players as being a former player herself?
Too far.
Yeah, I mean, I think she relies a little bit more on her assistants to kind of relate more to us, but she does a really good job. We're trying to teach her some lingo, so to keep her hip, but no, she does a really good job of that. But she also has her other assistants that can relate a little bit more to us, but you can tell that she played the game and wants us to be better, and honestly just wants us to be good people in life.
Lingo.
She's trying to teach me the 400 definitions of the word bet. I haven't quite learned them yet.
That's pretty good. But you got to keep it lighthearted there a little bit, Coach. What is it like, though, playing for the young, as the game evolves, as you adapt to the game? Because obviously you've been around the game for a long time. What's it like playing, coaching these young players? I got to mention that's part of the excitement as being a coach, right?
Oh, yeah. If you adapt or die, I say, especially these days. But I tell people all the time, I just get older and they all stay the same age. I keep getting older and I constantly am coaching 18 to 22-year-olds. So the gap has been growing, and they will tell you, I am not a cool cat, at all. And I don't try to be. So I have 2 amazing young assistants that do a tremendous job of being the go-between sometimes when it's needed. And it's been great. I mean, I played in shorts and practiced in shorts at a rec field in Birmingham, Alabama, and to coach at a facility that we have. And now we're about to go to the Rhodes Stadium and play in front of thousands of people. I mean, that progression in the last 20 years has just been an absolute amazing thing to experience as a coach, but also just as a fan of softball. I mean, so many people were angry and upset and whatever about the bracket, and you can take that as a negative or a positive that many people are watching and paying attention to our sport right now. So I love it, and I the gap's just going to keep getting bigger. So I'm just going to keep on hanging and trying to act like I know half the stuff that they're talking about. But yeah, I'm not on TikTok, so I'm definitely not cool in their eyes. So I don't know what they're talking about half the time.
Oh, wow. Leanna, you want to back that up there? Wow. I mean, that's it sounds like you still got some work to do.
I know, like it's tough. I'm telling you. No, but it's like she said, her staff, kind of relates to us in that way, but we're getting her there.
You're getting there. That's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Coach, you've obviously been to the NCAA tournament before as the assistant. How is that experience going to help you here with your team here as you get to go to Tuscaloosa?
I mean, I think it's going to help in that we're not going to have anything super unexpected on the coaching staff side. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize when you get in that night, you're already working on all the logistics. Like we were up here till, 11 or 12 trying to figure out all the logistics of what goes on. So having that experience when my staff maybe doesn't, I think, is great. But for the players, I've said this before, like we're not going to just be happy that we're in it. Like that's not how we're going to play, but we're also not going to act like we've been here before. So we're not going to be too cool for school, and we're not going to act like, oh yeah, we've done this before. Like we're going to be excited. I want them to have those chills. I want them to get goosebumps when they walk into the stadium to practice for the first time. Like they only get 4 or 5 years to do this. And I think if we act like we've done this a million times at Troy, they're not going to enjoy it. And we haven't. So I joke to people all the time that if I ever make the World Series as a coach, I sure as heck am not going to act like I've been there before. So I think we're not going to just be happy that we're there. I think we've been practicing and we're going to play to win, but we're also going to enjoy it. And I think that's going to be the important part.
Enjoy it, but there's some state bragging rights here, Leanna, right? Like there's some bragging rights here. There's got to be some pride here. You're going to be stepping on the field there. I'm sure you're going to have family and friends watching, but at the same time, you want to make a statement here as well.
For sure, it's going to be a great atmosphere playing, at Road Stadium in Tuscaloosa with all their fans, but also Troy travels with a lot, so we'll have a lot of people there, and just want to make them proud. So I'd say we're going to make a statement. Yeah, don't count us out.
That'll be nobody's going to get you out. That's for sure. Coach, what's going to be the keys to being successful in this regional? It's a stacked regional, no doubt about that. We've talked about that with Clemson, and they're going to be motivated because they felt they should have hosted. And Alabama, obviously, they're very good. And Alabama State's very good, too. There's no what's the keys to being successful in the regional as someone who's been there before?
I think anticipate the adrenaline, like everybody's going to have it. I mean, whether it's because if Clemson's playing with a chip on their shoulder or, it's our first time, and it's their first time too. I don't think people realize, it's first time they've been to a regional as well. But also just knowing your identity. Like we've been playing Troy softball since pitch number 1, and we know that, we've got great pitching and defense and timely hitting, but for us, like actually on the field, we've talked about it as I think eliminating the freebies and just living one pitch at a time. And we've been trying to do that all year. And sometimes we have failed to do that in one game, but rarely do we not just get off the mat after that happens. So we talk about our motto is we're just trying to go 1-0. So we're not worried about Saturday. We're going to walk in there and just try to go 1-0 by playing Troy softball.
Last thing for you, Coach. You were at UAB. I mentioned you helped build that program as a player, but also as an assistant with Coach Townsend. You were there in the NCAA tournament in 2010. That was part of that great run that she had from 2010 to 2013 that capped off with a super regional appearance in 2013. Do you sense this is where your program is here? That this is, now that you've broken through, this is now the beginning here of a great run? Because you mentioned you got a lot of youth here, and this run here is only going to help here moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words. I was talking about it with somebody yesterday. I said, it's the first one. It's the hardest to do it the first time. And then your players know how to do it. And I think our kids, we talked about it all year. You can keep telling them, every game matters. If you want an at-large bid, you got to play from pitch number 1, first game, all the way to the end, and that's how you get an at-large. And until you actually do it and it actually happens, you realize how to do it. So I think the roadmap has been drawn, and we have the talent to do it. And obviously with Leanna and our pitching staff, we have the pitching. I very much think that it's a very similar situation as, back in 2010. And, like I said, we're here to win. I mean, we're a very good team. And, whenever our run does end, we want to play as long as we can, and then, do it again for as many years as possible, and hopefully never stop.
No question about that. And we look forward to seeing you both and your team in Tuscaloosa. Head Coach Beth Mullins and star pitcher Leanna Johnson joining us here at In the Circle. Thanks to both of you for joining us. I know it's a busy time as you prepare. Congratulations on making history. Congrats on making the tournament. Well earned and deserved. And good luck this regional and this postseason run. And we'll be watching you.
Thanks so much, Eric.